Hello and welcome to another Dolphin Financial Radio show. My name is Dan Wendell. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about Social Security survivor benefits. Now, I've done a lot of seminars over the years, and I've even done a lot of podcasts and videos over the years on Social Security, and they have been the most popular. People have a lot of questions about it, and rightly so, because it's a huge part of retirement planning, income planning, and Social Security is a complex system. So people have a lot of questions. In today's show, I'm going to be hyper-focused on survivor benefits. What happens when you lose a spouse or a parent or a child? What happens to the Social Security benefits that person was getting? How much do you get? Can you get them? What if you're divorced? How long will it last? And are there any strategies? We're going to talk about all of that today. And to help me with that, I'm going to bring in my trusty sidekick, Tony Shore. There he is, Look, oh, we're back in the studio. He's back.
I am in the studio today, Dan. How about that? How about them apples?
At some point, you and I are going to get back pre-COVID in form. We're going to be in the right studios. We're going to have our audio fixed. We're going to have our lighting and video fixed. And then we'll just go live. And then we'll really screw things up. So
well, I'm trying to get the lighting adjusted in here, and then we've got a backdrop that we're going to be getting. So hopefully we'll be on shore. We'll be okay.
You notice my backdrop, I have the Social Security and the money. That's not real. This is a green screen for the people that are watching.
I thought there was actually giant bills and Social Security cards, giant, that you pasted up behind you. I had no idea that wasn't real.
Like those charity checks, the big check. So I will start by saying I do not work for the Social Security office. I do not work for any government agency. I'm a certified financial planner that happens to know a lot about Social Security. So we're going to be talking about it today. Yes.
Mic drop.
There it is. It sounded more like a crash, like a Godzilla punch.
That's
all right.
Is that the sound it makes when I sit down in the studio?
Wow. Okay. So we're going to talk about survivor benefits, Tony. We're going to talk about very specifically what happens when you lose a spouse. So what happens?
That's a tough one. That's a tough topic. We're on a more serious topic today.
Yeah, but it's important. And I think
it is important.
Get confused. And so we're going to talk about what happens to Social Security when you lose your spouse or ex-spouse, right? People don't realize that you can get a survivor benefit if you're not married to the person, but if you were, okay? So the first thing people wonder is, can I get a lump sum? No, you don't get a lump sum of Social Security benefits. Actually, you do, Tony. $255.
What?
$255 you get from the government if you lose a spouse. That will pay for, what will that pay for?
Nothing. Not even
flowers.
No.
And
wow. That wouldn't even cover flowers for the funeral. That's sad.
Yeah. So Social Security is not known for giving fancy lump sum death benefits. That's what life insurance is for.
Yeah.
But you do qualify for $255 if you were married to the person and they died. So there's that.
Maybe in 1935, when Social Security was first established,
right?
It was probably the same exact amount, and that would cover a pine box and a basic funeral in 1935.
Right. It's sad. I bet you that's right. I bet you I should look that up. It wasn't indexed to inflation. No. But yeah, that's a good one. All right. So,
I wonder if it's ever changed.
No, probably not. But moving on. So who can get Social Security and how much are they going to get? So it's actually based off of the person that died's record. And there are several people that qualify. You got the widow or widower, so the spouse. You have the ex-spouse. So we're going to talk about those today. But I also want to mention that children and parents can get Social Security benefits.
Oh, really?
Yes. I want to talk quickly about that because this happens. It doesn't happen very often. But let's start with children. So children that are 16 or younger can get, actually, no. If they're 18 and younger, and not married, they can't be married.
Yeah.
Or if they're 19 and they're still in school, and that's not college, that's elementary or secondary school. Or if they're disabled and they were disabled before age 22. So those people can get benefits. And then once they hit 18 or 19, 20, when they're no longer in school, even if they're in school, if they're hit 20, then it stops. So you can get Social Security benefits, but typically Social Security is available to people when they hit age 62. So to have children under 18 at 62, it's happening more and more, but something to consider.
So in order for my children to be able to collect Social Security benefits from me, even if they are 16 or 18, I would have to already be 62.
You would have to be claiming benefits.
I would have to be already claiming benefits. Okay.
Right. However, you could be any age as a widower or widow, and if you're taking care of someone under 16, get Social Security benefits for that child. So
that's interesting.
But we're not going to get into the children part.
Sure.
I want to point out the parents. You can also get Social Security benefits based on your child if your child, or adult child, was taking care of more than or 50% or more of your expenses. So there's a formula for it. So you, as an adult, can get Social Security benefits from a deceased child if that child was taking care of you.
Okay.
And your own benefit isn't as high. So you get that step up.
Sure.
But typically that's going to be a parent that is aging, that is being taken care of by the adult child. Okay. So there are benefits, and those continue in survivor. But let's talk about a widower, and whether or not your ex-spouse or what. So a widow or widower can get Social Security survivor benefits at age 60. I've quizzed you back probably 6-7 years ago. You failed. You didn't know, but now you know. Now you know the earliest you could take it. You could take it at 60 if you lose a spouse.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Age 50 if you're
disabled. I totally remember that.
Awkward silence.
I did not remember that. I remember you quizzing me on a few things on some older shows, and you are always excited and happy to report that I failed those quizzes.
Well, it's important because at age 62, people know they can claim Social Security.
Right.
What they probably don't realize is that they can claim it at 60 if they lose a spouse or an ex-spouse. And if you're currently disabled at age 50, you can claim a spousal benefit. If you're disabled, you can claim it before age 60. You can claim it at 50, as long as you were disabled prior to or within 7 years of losing the spouse.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the ex-spouse. Ex-spouse can claim a spousal benefit, survivor benefit, if they were a qualified ex-spouse. That means you have to have been married for 10 years and you can't have been remarried. So,
well, they can. That's true. Whether they're that's not just a survivor benefit. That's not right. Even if they're deceased. Even if they're living. If you've been divorced, if you were married for at least 10 years and you're divorced and you hit Social Security age, you can collect off your ex-spouse's Social Security. Right.
Right. You can get half,
even if they're still alive. Right.
If they're still alive. If they die, you get the full survivor benefit.
Ah, okay. That's the difference.
But you have to have been married for 10 years.
Sure, yeah.
And you can't be remarried unless, actually, I take that back. You can be remarried after age 60 or age 50 if you're disabled. So, and I've talked about this all the time. If you're thinking about getting remarried, you might want to wait till after 60 so that you could still claim against the ex-spouse who's passed away. Even if they're alive, you could still do that. But if at 60, you can claim against the next deceased and get a spousal benefit, get remarried and still get the spousal benefit from your first husband's or first wife's benefit. Now,
that's an interesting filing strategy that I bet a lot of people that are eligible for that don't know about it and don't take advantage of that. That's huge.
And in the show my most popular show about marriage and divorce and death, I talk about how an 80-year-old woman got divorced so that she can claim against her first husband because she got married before 60. She got remarried before 60, wasn't no longer eligible for the survivor benefit from her deceased first husband, got remarried at 58 or something, can't claim Social Security against herself because she doesn't have it, can't claim security against a current spouse because he doesn't qualify. She had to get divorced so she can qualify from the first husband.
Wow. Interesting.
So, right.
Interesting. And I love how that you feel your most popular show was on marriage, divorce, and death. Was
and recommending living in wedlock or living in sin. Living in sin, I should say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Living in sin. Unbelievable, Dan.
But on paper, they got divorced, but they're still married, you know.
Yeah.
So you can get remarried after 60 or 50 if you're disabled. And so the question is, what do I get? What do I get? Right? You know, what is my benefit? And does it make sense? And all right, I can qualify, but should I do it? So this is where the strategy comes in. So it's based on the person who died, and the reductions continue. And what I mean by that is, and this is what typically happened: wife and husband and wife. The husband worked full life. The wife stayed at home. This was when Social Security first came about, right?
Sure.
Single family, single earner in the family. Spouse didn't work. Husband worked. He took Social Security at 62. He retired at 55. Took Social Security at 62, which was early. So he's getting a haircut. He's not getting his full retirement benefit. Didn't matter. They wanted the money. They needed the money. The spouse qualified at 62 to get half because they didn't have their own. They get half of their earner. And then the husband died at 68. And the spouse then gets to keep their own, which is half, or their full spousal benefit, which is what they do. They take the survivor benefit. The problem being the reduction stays. That spouse, that husband, took it at 62 at a reduced rate.
Right.
They lock that in.
You lose themselves. A third. You lose a third basically at that point, right?
That's it.
Yeah. If you file early, which is 62,
almost, it's not a third. It's more like 25% or so.
Oh, okay. So
but still
a quarter. That's still
right. And so the surviving spousal benefit is locked in at that reduced rate as well.
Sure. Speaking of haircut, you're looking great, and I just got one last. See,
we got the memo.
Dan and I are sporting the new.
That's it.
This guy. Where do
I
can't.
So you're left.
This guy.
Yes.
Technology.
Right. And it's not even green screen. That's actually gray. I can't do a gray screen because then I'd look bald. Anyway, so you want to think twice about taking it early if you're married. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, it's also based on the survivor's age. So when you claim Social Security, you may be taking a haircut. We talked about if you wait till full retirement age, you get 100%.
Yep.
But if you take it at age 60, which you can, you're going to get 71.5%.
Oh.
So you got to think twice about this. You got to think twice. Now,
you got to look at things like longevity, health, your current financial situation. And that's why this is such an integral piece of overall financial planning, which is what you do for your clients.
Yes.
And so many financial services professionals out there, so-called financial planners, don't deal with Social Security, but they really should be factoring it in, shouldn't they?
It's the biggest source of income for people that are retired in this country.
Yep.
It's got a cost of living benefit. It's not all taxable. There's a lot of reasons to like Social Security.
Sure.
But there's some rules, and people just don't realize they can get a spousal benefit. What does that mean? You don't get both. Some people think you can get both. No, you get one or the other. But a lot of people don't realize you can get it if your ex-spouse dies. So there's a lot of factors that go in here, and they need to think about it. Now,
right, because you're going to take a hit if a spouse dies because you don't get to keep that full benefit.
No, you don't. And if you're already claiming against your current spouse, right? Let's say you're married and your spouse is claiming Social Security. They got a good record and you're getting only half because you don't have a strong record. So you're already claiming based on your spouse, and that spouse dies, you automatically convert to theirs. You get the step up automatically. There's nothing you could do because there's no trick. You can't, all right, I'm going to take his and then switch to mine. You've already claimed. You're already getting as much as you can get, half of the spouse, and then they die, you're going to get their full benefit because you can only keep one or the other, whichever's higher. So you're going to take the higher amount.
Right.
Now, if you're not on Social Security yet and you lose a spouse or an ex-spouse dies, then now you have some options. Now you can choose. You could choose between your own benefit or you could take the survivor benefit. And this is where it gets interesting. So let's throw a scenario. You're 63 years old and you're divorced and you haven't claimed your own Social Security benefit yet because you're working, or you want to delay because you want more. Then you find out your ex-spouse died and your ex-spouse was 65, say. And you're saying, oh, well, what now? Does that change my strategy? Can I do something different? The answer is yes. You can claim against an ex-spouse survivor benefit because they died, and then not touch your own and switch to your own later. Well, how much am I going to get from my ex-spouse? I don't know. You have to find out what their benefit was. I don't know. I don't even know if he's alive or dead. But you can find that out through contacting Social Security office. So you do want to keep tabs on ex-spouses. Well, if I take his benefit at 63, but I wanted to wait because mine's higher. Okay. Take the survivor benefit at 63. You're not going to get 100% because remember, you're taking it early. You don't know what you're going to get, but you find out. And then when you hit 67, say that's your full retirement age, you could switch to your own, which is a higher amount, and then you get an increase.
Wow. I didn't know they'd let you do that.
You can. See, they eliminated the restricted application to be able to switch and do all the fun stuff, except for survivor benefits. You could still do it. All right. So now let's change the scenario. Let's say that you have a very low record and you're saying, I'm 63 years old. My current spouse, died. I'm not on my own yet. I didn't take it yet. We were planning to wait because we weren't sure, or my ex-spouse died. Now what you could do is you could take your own benefit and you get a reduction, take your own benefit, and maybe it's only $1,000 a month or $500 a month. And then when you hit your full retirement age, that's when you call up the Social Security office and say, I'd like my survivor benefit now. Now you get 100% of your deceased spouses. So you get a little bit leading up to your full retirement age, and then boom, you get 100% later. So that's do the math.
Huge. Yeah.
So, and you can't do that normally, but if you have a survivor benefit, you can. And this is what people don't realize is that they have some options, that they have to do some math, that it's not, one or the other always. You can do a switch. They allow you to do that. And you could start your survivor benefit at 60 and switch to your own at 67 if you wanted, or take your own at 62 and switch to the survivor benefit at 67 or 65, whenever it makes sense for you. But you have to do the math. So
let one or the other roll up while you use the smaller amount.
Yes. The idea is to maximize one or the other.
Yep.
And normally you could do that if you're married, but if you lose the spouse, you could still maximize one of them through the survivor benefit rules, which haven't changed. Yeah. So that's the beauty. So financially devastating to lose a spouse. This is what destroys a lot of people's retirement dreams.
Sure.
Not talking about
emotionally.
Right. Obviously. Not talking about the emotions. Right.
Yeah.
Just financially, people don't think about it. They think about it, but they don't want to do anything about it. Right. And the last thing they think about is, oh, that's right, I lose the Social Security benefit. Right. Social Security has rules to protect spouses in this scenario.
Sure.
And ex-spouses, which people don't realize. Same rules, as long as you were married for 10 years and not remarried. So you got to know these rules. You have to know the rules. You have to know that there are strategies available to you, and then you run the math. So I do this. I have software. I get people watching this video, hearing the podcast. They email me. They call. They say, hey, Dan, can you run that scenario for me? I'm a widow. I kind of, I hear what you're saying, but I'd like to see it in black and white. And I do that. I run it. I email them the Social Security maximization report. I don't charge for this. They take it with them when they go to file at the Social Security office. You cannot file for survivor benefits online. You could call, you can go to the in person, but you can't file online because they need to see some documents.
Sure.
They take this document with
them.
Death
certificate, probably you'd have to have.
Yes. Unless you're going to try, you don't want to do the weekend at Bernie's thing, you know, like they don't want people.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Well, my husband's Social Security benefit's worth a whole lot more when he's alive than if he's dead. So let's keep him alive. Right.
No.
Right. Yeah. No good. So if you're interested in that, just contact me through here. You can text me. You can write a thing on the notes here on the YouTube channel. You can email me on the website, dolphinfinancialgroup.com. You can call me on the number that's on the screen here. Just contact me and I will get you this report. Especially important if you lost a spouse or an ex-spouse through death. Hey, know what your options are and make the right choice.
Yeah, that's huge. Great show. Eye-opener today, Dan. I really think this is so important, yes, especially for those who have lost a spouse.
So, and to remind everybody, hey, this is not a government agency talking. I'm going to have my kids do the outro and remind you of that. But Tony, thanks for a good show.
Thanks, Dan.
Keeping it light, and have a wonderful day, everybody.
All matters discussed in today's show are for informational purposes only.
This show is not investment advice.
Dan Wendell nor Dolphin Financial Group are affiliated or endorsed by any government agency.
Investment advisory services are offered through Dolphin Wealth Management, Inc., a registered investment advisor in the state of Florida.
Insurance products and services are offered through Dolphin Insurance, Inc.
Dolphin Wealth Management, Inc. and Dolphin Insurance, Inc. are affiliated companies doing businesses as Dolphin Financial Group.
You should talk to someone at Dolphin Financial Group before implementing any of these strategies or ideas.